Hey, what's up everybody, Nexel here. Today we are playing Kingdom Hearts Union Cross, and this video is going to be discussing the new medal that just came out today, Demyx B. Now, like I said in the last video, if you haven't seen it, go check it out. It is pretty long, it's just me running through the quests, but if you're here to listen about my thoughts on this medal, you've come to the right place. So this is the Demyx B medal. It's going to be reverse blue, and it's going to deal 6 hits, inflict more damage the higher your HP, and it's got quite a wide range and quite a high gauge cost. It is single target, meaning that this medal is used to pretty much wreck one particular enemy. So, what do I think about this medal? First of all, I think, number one, it definitely is outdated. This medal would have been preferable during the time when, you know, 3 Wishes was pretty new, or Moogle of Glory. Not to say that it isn't still useful, you could definitely still slap it on that 4th slot of Moogle of Glory for that 2.9 multiplier. Still really good, but unfortunately with things like Counterpoint out, until Diamond Dust comes out, this medal has very limited usefulness, especially since we have a lot of missions nowadays where that 4th slot of Moogle of Glory, since it is the highest multiplier, you're going to want to use it for an area of effect attack. That way you're knocking out all the enemies with the highest multiplier. Again, you can put this Demyx B there if you do run into a mission where there is one really high HP target, like let's say Union Cross. Union Cross, you usually have a boss at the end, and having this single target medal in that slot could be really good for you. So that is one way to use this Demyx B medal, since it is a single target attack. Now, when it comes to traits, I want to say that there's only 2 realistically good traits for this one, and that's going to be ground enemy defense minus 60 and aerial enemy defense minus 60. A lot of people are saying that damage in raids would be a good option for this medal, but I don't want to say damage in raids because it has such a high gauge cost that, you know, you'd be pouring a lot of resource into one attack. So, yeah, it could be good if you have, you know, illustrated Kingdom Hearts 2 Kairi, if you have, you know, just a way to replenish those gauges. But 4 gauges is quite a bit, so realistically, I say ground enemy defense minus 60 and aerial enemy defense minus 60. That way you can throw like an AB3 max SP gauge 1 on this medal, lowering the cost and leaving a little bit more leeway for the other medals to be able to be used. So let's say, you know, that's 0.2 Kairi is going to cost 2, and, you know, other medals are going to cost 2. So gauges might be a problem with this thing being 4, but if you're able to lower the cost, then it shouldn't be a problem at all. If you have something like illustrated Kingdom Hearts 2 Kairi with double cast, and gauges are never a worry for you, so go ahead, slap damage on raids on this guy. But my personal preference would be to put ground or aerial on this, because again, it's single target. And if you run into a really hard boss, like let's say in the Colosseum, there's an enraged elk as part of the rotation of enemies. So if you're able to get aerial on this one, it would be really helpful for a quest like that. But with that being said, that is what I think the best trait and the best skill is for this medal, as well as a few ways that you can use it. I am going to do 5 trait rolls today because I am going to wait for that special attack campaign to come in. But let's hope we get one of those minus 60 traits here. Alright, so here it is, my 7 Demyx Bs. I have 2 of them locked, the one I'm leveling up now and the one that I'm going to use for the 2 orbs. So let's go ahead and roll for trait. I'm kind of hoping to get aerial enemy defense minus 60 because I'm lacking in the aerial department. But there are more red ground enemies, so ground enemy defense minus 60 would be preferred. Oh, jeez. Alright, aerial enemy defense minus 60 right off the bat. Okay. I can't complain about that at all. Alright, let's do another one here. It's gonna be hard. If this next one's gonna be ground enemy defense minus 60, I'm gonna be in quite a pickle here, actually. Aerial. Okay, we got aerial again. Maybe it's a sign. Maybe it's a sign that I need to keep this one at aerial. Alright, let's go ahead, accept it. And you know what? Because this is a preferable trait, I'm gonna leave this one, actually, go to the next one. That way, in case I get ground enemy defense on this second one, I have some time to decide before actually fusing them when that special attack bonus campaign comes. Alright, so as you can see, there's my 2-orbed one there. This one's gonna get 3 orbs. And someone had kind of a weird question about this earlier. So when you give a 5-star medal traits and then you evolve it, it maintains the traits. So you don't need to evolve everything to 6 stars in order to fuse them and give traits. You can give them traits at 5, save those evolve resources, get to that 1 medal with 3 orbs, 1 medal with 2 orbs, evolve both of them. And that way you've already gotten 5 trait rolls in, with the last trait roll being fusing that 2-orbed and that 3-orbed version. So that's a good way to save resources in case you're pretty new to the game and you didn't know that that was the way guilting worked. Alright, let's go ahead and see what we roll for trait on this Demyx. If I get ground, oh my gosh, this is gonna be wild. Extra attack. Wow, what a weird time to get it. So I wouldn't personally recommend extra attack on this medal. I know a lot of people love extra attack. A lot of people know how rare it is, but I wouldn't recommend it on this medal just because it's such a high gauge cost. Even if you put a SP skill on there, it's still better off having one of those -60 traits for damage dealing purposes, because high multiplier, it's a damage medal. Definitely those are the two to go for. But, you know, I can be proven wrong. Someone could use this medal to hit 2 different enemies. That's one way to use extra attack. Someone can use it in Union Cross as both a damage dealer and as a healer to get 2 different heals in. So that's another way to use extra attack. So my personal preference, since I did get aerial -60 on the other one, is to kind of erase this extra attack. So let's see if we can roll for ground. Another reason I'm not too concerned about damage in raids is because I actually have a, So I'll show you my raid setup at the end of this video, but once you see it, you'll understand why I'm not too worried about damage in raids in other colors. So strength plus 1,000, again, this is a damage dealing medal. Extra attack is pretty costly on this one, so I am going to replace that extra attack with strength plus 1,000. Okay. We have one more trait roll here. Let's see if we can get ground. Technically, there's 2 trait rolls. When I evolve it to 6 stars, I get another one. But let's see if we can get it now. Extra attack again. Oh my gosh. Maybe it's because I wiped the previous one. Alright, so extra attack, again, not preferred on this medal. So I'm going to go ahead and wipe this one. And there you go. There are 5 trait rolls for Demyx B. I'll do the 6th one during the special attack campaign whenever that comes by, because I do want to save some magic mirrors. But let me go ahead and show you why I'm not too particularly worried about damage in raids. I think I might have wiped the setup that I used. Okay, I did, unfortunately. But for damage in raids, my setup looks something like this. So we've got a healer in our second chance. And then we also have our buffer here. You know what? I think I might have messed up the order. So it actually looks something like this. So this is my raid setup. This is why I'm not too worried about damage in raids, because when we look at the traits, damage in raids exists on my 4th and 5th slot, and not only that, but on that 5th slot, it's got dual damage in raids, and this medal ignores attribute, so that's why I'm not too particularly worried about damage in raids. For Demyx B, if you need that raid damage, and if Moogle of Glory is your best, absolute best Keyblade, by all means, you know, that's a good way to, you know, get some Lux, put a Lux skill on that guy, and do some high damage, trying to eliminate that raid boss as fast as possible. But just personal preference, I definitely think the -60 traits are better for that one, for the reasons I explained earlier. With ground being the better one, because there are more ground red enemies than there are aerial red enemies. But with that being said, that is my trade video. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I will try my best to get to them. Until the next video, everyone, take it easy.